Up to 2,000 people have been evacuated from the city of Mariupol through the latest openings of humanitarian corridors, making their escape on buses which were supplied by Kyiv. But the International Committee of the Red Cross failed to carry out their planned evacuations as its team said that conditions were not safe to travel to the city. The aid organisation says that around 150,000 people remain trapped there and that it will try again tomorrow. Ukraine's government welcomed the evacuation efforts but has accused Russia of stealing much-needed humanitarian supplies.
Unfortunately, humanitarian aid was taken away by the occupiers, 14 tons worth of food and medicine. This is the price of agreements, this is the price of guarantees given to the International Committee of the Red Cross, that humanitarian corridors would be guaranteed and would work. We're negotiating the return of buses so that the residents of Melitopol can leave for Zaporizhzhia tomorrow.
Meanwhile, Russia says an oil depot near the border with Ukraine was attacked by helicopter gunships. Officials from the Belgorod region say 2 Ukrainian helicopters crossed the border and struck the facility with missiles. If confirmed, it would be the first engagement by Ukraine against Russia on Russian soil. But Ukraine's foreign minister says he can neither confirm nor deny that Kyiv was behind the operation. Tracking the latest developments across Ukraine is our correspondent Sasha Vakulina, and she explained that no one's yet claimed responsibility for the Belgorod oil depot attack.
This is super close to the border with Kharkiv. This is that area, and as you said, there's no confirmation, there is no denial there, and yet the way Ukrainian authorities reacted to it as well, they said that they are not to blame for everything that's happening in Russia, but that area is towards Kharkiv. This is not, we're talking Chernihiv and Kyiv. This is where we can see counteroffensive by Ukrainian forces.
There had been high hopes for an evacuation or for some progress in the evacuation of Mariupol today, but the situation does seem a little bit unclear. Progress appears to be limited. What can you tell us?
There is not much information, verified information, and this is where it gets tricky because there are some corridors that worked. For example, the one from Melitopol to Zaporizhzhia. Now, all the corridors in that area, this is the southeastern area, the Azov Sea, they're all going to Zaporizhzhia. This is the big city that is in the region. Now, the one from Melitopol worked, but the one from Mariupol, this is where it gets really unclear, because from what we know, the buses were supposed to deliver first humanitarian aid also to Mariupol and then to take people from there and to take them to Zaporizhzhia. All we know is that in previous days, all these attempts, they failed. Now, this time, the International Committee of the Red Cross are on board and they're involved, and they're supposed to be leading the bigger convoy of buses and also private cars. And yet, we cannot now verify and confirm whether it worked or not.
Right. Meanwhile, peace talks are underway, and at the same time, we're starting to get pictures out of other parts of the country about the scale of the destruction.
Certainly. We've received some pictures from Kyiv as well on the destruction of the explosion a few days ago over the shopping mall. And there was also the residential building close to it and the big parking lot, and this has been destroyed. Similar pictures have been coming in from around Kyiv as well. Now, these are the areas where Ukrainian forces managed to have some successful counterattacking. These are the areas northwest of Kyiv. Now, a few hours ago, we got the information that Borodyanka and Bucha were liberated, taken back by Ukrainian forces. Once they go in there, this is when we start seeing what's been happening there and the state of those towns and cities. The moment Ukrainian forces are in control, this has been happening all around Kyiv. They're saying, okay, we're here, we're back in control in the city, but they're asking the citizens not to come back yet because these places are not yet safe.